Hello everyone, this is Chrystal Lynn, Cowgirl Astrologer. I want to thank you for joining me, and I am super excited to be continuing my series on children and astrology. And I'm really hoping that this will be a really groundbreaking new series on talking about a subject that astrology has kind of tiptoed around. Does not quite know what to do with it. When we look at astrological history, we see that different generations viewed children in different ways. We know back in, even as far back as Pluto and Virgo generation, the generation that I was born in, we were raised, really to work hard, don't express necessarily how you feel, do the right thing, and we lived to very high ideals. And that was during that time. And so our parents raised us the best that they knew how. Well, now we're in a new time in history with Neptune and Pisces, and the fact that we are moving into the age of Aquarius. And so we're looking at things much differently. And I truly believe that astrology can be an amazing tool to help us raise the kids of the next generation. And if you're watching this video right now and you think, well, I don't have any kids, and I'm not even a Taurus, don't go away if you are interested in astrology, because I'm going to be doing some really cool stuff throughout these series. They'll all be different. And today I'm going to be talking about how to read a child's chart and a family chart. I'm going to be doing a demonstration. So hang tight. I also want to let you guys know that I do have available right now on my website a children's natal chart report. This is a 20-page report that goes into in-depth detail about every single thing that was happening up in the sky the moment your child was born. Now, if you do not have the time of birth, which you should on the birth certificate, but you can still get a very extensive report. It just is a few things that it won't have. But this will help you follow along with the series. This will help you know more about your child, understand how they see life, and then give you creative ways to help bring out the best in them. So they are $25. You can get them at my website. There's buy two, get one free. And they're great gifts as well. And a great way to help support this channel if you are enjoying these videos. We know that Taurus is an earth sign and, symbolic of the bull. And so what do we know about this child? This child can be very steady. This child really wants to have security, really wants to have harmony. And often we call this child the prince or princess of the zodiac because they're absolutely beautiful. They're ruled by Venus. So if you have a Taurus child, you may notice that they have very beautiful eyes, almost like cat eyes. Now, as you're following this series, if you are looking at your child's chart, again, you can get that on my website. If you are looking at their chart, they may have a Taurus rising or a moon in Taurus. Any of the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Okay, if you have any of those placements, even yourself or your children in Taurus, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today will be something you may identify with. So just because they don't have, the sun in Taurus, it doesn't mean this video won't have some insights for you. So we're going to look at this child. Now this child really does truly want security. Security in their home, security with their family. You'll often find that they can almost be like a little bit hoarding of their material stuff. Like they care so much about their stuff. They don't really like to share their stuff, even with their siblings. And one thing, if you can do for a Taurus child, I believe, my opinion, is allow them to have their own space somewhere, whether it's their own room that they don't have to share. You're not going to, change that in them by having their own space, their own room that they can decorate and make comfortable for them. They have this little space of security that will follow them throughout their whole entire life that they need to have. It helps them be creative and not so frustrated. When we get frustrated or we're in difficult situations, or our children are in difficult situations that really go against the grain of who they are, it's not that those aren't lessons that, they need to learn and we need to learn. But if we want to raise kids of the next generation and we can understand what empowers them, we might be a little more apt to build that and provide that for them. What's really important to them. So it's not that they're, selfish or hoarding. It's that the values that they have, the security that they have, they find in material items. That's how they identify with that. So having a few items that are just theirs is important for them, that they can feel that sense. Now, they do like to be outdoors. It's an earth sign, good with gardening, good with hiking. They like to explore outdoors. A lot of times they'll even like catching lizards, like Taurus boys, lizards and snakes and different things like that can be very attracted to them. Being that it's ruled by Venus, they can have beautiful voices. It's, I think, the #1 sign of the zodiac that has potential to have a beautiful voice. They love music, and they need a lot of music around them. So, when you wake up on a Sunday morning and, the house is a little bit crazy and the tension's building and you're trying to do things, put a little music on, and you'll see that little Taurus come alive. You'll see them relax. You'll see them be creative. The Taurus life is often, because they are so stable, I should say, it often attracts a lot of very emotional relationships or emotional situations because Scorpio is in the 7th house. So even as they get older, and I'm going to talk real here, you guys, because I'm a mother and these are real issues that we deal with every day. But if you're in a divorce situation and you have a Taurus child, you do have to often be careful because there can be power struggles, like with a stepmother or with a stepfather. They're very protective of their parent, and they're going to not want to lose that relationship. They really want that attention from their mother. So if you have a Taurus child and you're going through difficult times, you don't want to put that child in a very turbulent situation. It'll be very hard on their psyche. Provide security as much as you can. Now, a lot of times, you might butt heads with your Taurus child because they're very strong-minded and they don't like to be pushed. So your mornings getting ready for school might not be that pleasant. I have a Taurus daughter. She just turned 18, and I'm so glad I don't have to get her up for school in the morning because her alarm would go off and she'd just sleep right through it. And there's no pushing them to get out the door. Just none whatsoever. So now I did going to do something a little special today. I'm going to talk more about this in the rest of the video. I'm trying to condense this for time's sake. I have a special chart of one of my audience that sent me in story about her Taurus little daughter. She was just born, in fact, born on the Cardinal Cross. We'll talk about that. And so I'm going to do a little chart sample here in just a minute. But before I go to that, I want to share something with you that I found while doing this series. And this is a little book that my Taurus daughter made me. Okay, I want to show you this, you guys. Okay, little horses and her little friend. Now, I'm not going to read you the whole book. It's really kind of cool. I could even put it on my website if you guys want to look at it because it's really special. But my daughter has a Sun in Taurus, Sun and Venus in Taurus, Moon, Mercury, Aries, and Mars, Virgo, okay, with a Capricorn ascendant. Okay, and I'm giving you a lot of information, but just bear with me. And I wanted to show you when I'm looking at her writing. First thing, what do we see, you guys? Look at your children's work. They'll tell you a lot about them. What do we see here? We see the green. We see the Taurus. We see the grass. We see the love for animals. And we see the love for friendship right out the bat on the beginning of this book. Now, as I was looking through the book, then I saw, here her and her friend are riding. And in this little story, she's talking about how they're talking and talking and talking and writing. And, my daughter has a Mars in Virgo. She's always been a communicator, loves to talk to her friends. And so she expressed, she was about 9 years old when she wrote this. Now, I thought this was really interesting because in the next page, she's got a picture of her and her little friend at the table. Now, as we know, Tauruses love food because it's comforting, and they love to eat out there grazing all day. It makes them happy. And so she made sure in her book that there's a scene of a time to eat, a time of intimacy as well. That's how they bond with others, is through material things, earthy things. Food is earthy. Now, I really love this because in the next page here, she's got that they went to Boot Barn to pick out their little outfits because they're going to be the rodeo queens. This is the book is about her being a rodeo queen. And being a Capricorn rising with the Mars and Virgo, I thought this was just very, very structured of a drawing about the different, the outlet center where she's going to pick out her rodeo queen outfit. Now, I have always said that when you have a Taurus-Aries combination, which my daughter is Sun in Taurus, Moon in Aries, that is your little rodeo queen, okay, the little tomboy. But Tauruses usually are fairly feminine. They love makeup, they love music, they love candles, they love good things. But you put a little Aries in that mix and you're going to get the little tomboy, little rodeo queen. So here she is. She's singing and doing her thing. And so, you know, she's competitive. She's willing to get out there. Moon and Aries right there. That's getting to the top. So you're seeing all of her chart play out here. And she's willing to share. So, you know, they are willing to share just a little bit. She was willing to share the stand. So that's her little book, and it was just, you know, when you go and you look at your children, look at their whole chart, see these energies play out. How do they see life? And it's a fascinating study. I'm going to be continuing in part 2 of this video. It won't be too long, you guys. Sharing a family tree chart and talking about how to look at your own family tree. So hang with me in part 2. All right. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me for part 2. Don't be overwhelmed when you see this picture right here. This is just my way of trying to share with you how I do my astrological charts when I'm doing a family chart. So I use both the grid and our zodiac right here. And I use them both together because they both give me different pieces of the story and just how I'm viewing them. They are the same thing, but this allows, I don't know, I have a Virgo mind, so I like patterns. So when I'm comparing charts, I like to refer here. Hopefully you guys can see my mouse. I'm going to be pointing things out, so don't get overwhelmed by all of this. I'll be pointing very specific things out. So follow the mouse. I will go kind of fast, but you can take notes, or you can, you know, rewind if there's a certain point you'd like to hear again. But these are just some tips for you guys to look at family charts and also to see what I do. So if you'd like to come in for a reading, this is my specialty. I love doing this. And I can help you in your relationships within your family. So here we've got Dad over here. And again, this is all Dad. And we've got our little princess, all right? She was born on April 29th, 2013, during our exact grand cardinal cross. So you can see that right here. We've got this square here, okay? But we also have a lot of very harmonious stuff. This is a very powerful chart, you guys. So children that were born during this time are very important for our future. And we've got Mom over here. Okay, we have a very intuitive mother. When you see a lot of lines like this, if you're just reading without knowing what anything else means, just looking, Mom is very, very intuitive, and Mom is very, very creative. Okay, and then Dad over here he's trying to be the balanced one. He's trying to be the balanced one. So first of all, let's take a look at our child here. Again, I'm going to refer to her as our little princess. And she has the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Taurus. So that is a very, very powerful conjunction. When we look down here, that is in her 11th house at 0 degrees, which also tells me that's a very powerful point. Whenever you're at a 0 degree, that's the most powerful point of that interception. So that's powerful. So there's a message. There's a message that this child has. Taurus is very stable. So, and with the Sun-Mercury conjunction, that can also be a teacher. Now, often the Taurus, because they are so stable, will have a heart or a almost a calling or mission towards women, helping women. Now, this could be done through products. This could be also done through some type of counseling or psychology or helping women that have suffered from abuse, okay? Because right here in the 11th house, this is going to want to go out into the world publicly. But because we see that our child here has Venus in Pisces and the ascendant in Cancer, okay, conjunct Jupiter, this is a healer. This has the ability for healing, for even being a doctor. When you see this Jupiter in Cancer, and might be specialized in women, but will be a very spiritual doctor. And with Mars in Libra, here we have our counselor, our mediator. So you see we've got some story already unfolding. Now this could play out in a lot of different ways, but this tells me that how can I help my daughter become all that she can be so that she can be this powerful and have this opportunity. There's also a lot of music around here because Venus rules Taurus, and so does Venus is also, or Libra is also ruled by Venus as well. So Venus rules music, and we have a very musical child here. So we also see that she'll have a lot of expectations to be her best. Now, if we look over here at Mom, it's very interesting because Mom has Moon in Cancer, which is conjunct the ascendant. And when you're looking at compatibility relationships, the ascendant and the Moon conjunction is very powerful and positive. All right, so you understand your daughter and this need to nurture, and you will be able to help her with that. This could also mean you'll be very close. You also both share Mars in Libra. So we've got this strong pattern that's going to play out for both of you. Every time you have your Mars return, your daughter also will have her Mars return, and you both will share in this experience. It'll be very connected, very karmic. When we look over here at Dad, we see that Dad has the ascendant and Moon in Libra. So we see the Libra theme, the musical theme, the harmonious theme, the wanting to be fair. This is a child that you want to have a lot of communication with. Teach how to look at the pros and cons. You know, a lot of debates in the house, a lot of discussions in the house. That's a good thing. That will help her develop this side. Now we do see that Dad has Venus and Mars in Aries, so he's going to be a little more competitive. He's going to want to probably push our little princess here to get out there and to try things and to compete and to do things like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, interestingly enough, we see that Mom and Dad both have Sun, Mercury in Aquarius. And where does our little princess have this? Right here in the 8th and 9th house. So here we have these very deep family issues, mother-father issues can play out here as well. So here we have an understanding, and there's a psychic connection. There's a karmic connection in this family. And teaching her how to use this ability to understand and connect to life in this high vibration of Aquarius. So Mom and Dad, you will be teaching her how to do that. It's a little more hidden, but it's there. We also see that Mom has a Sagittarius rising, so Mom's strong. Mom is a teacher, and that's a good thing. So we've got in this chart here, the 6th house in Sagittarius, the everyday ways of life, learning, your schedule, all of those things. Be a lot of travel, a lot of new adventures, and that'll be fabulous to bring about positive energy in this chart, because Taurus is an outdoorsy type energy. So also outdoors, get outside, get near the water, and Mom has no problem with getting near the water. Also here with Jupiter and Scorpio, you will be able to teach her how to use this intuitive side, because we've got Scorpio in the 5th house of expression. So this may be a way. We've got 5th house and 11th house, Scorpio, Taurus energy here. So I see somebody that's able to help others on a very deep level. This will be a very deep child. It's like an old soul. And with this cardinal cross, we don't want to get afraid of that, because This child has the ability to look at things from many, many different perspectives. And one thing to look at, you guys, when we're looking at children and astrology, what are the issues that were happening during this time? Go back and look up these dates. What are the social collective issues? Because those issues may be and could be and probably will be the issues that as she grows up that she helps heal. All right? Born during Saturn and Scorpio, she's going to be looking at the deep issues of life, especially retrograde. Pluto and Capricorn retrograde, building something behind the scenes. Mars and Libra retrograde. When you see retrogrades, that tells us this child, you know, like I said, could work behind the scenes, helping others. Even the music world's behind the scenes. We don't see it until it comes out on the radio, which is direct. But when those things are being created, it's behind the scenes. I see a lot of people in the music industry born with a lot of retrogrades in their chart. Now you see here Saturn and Scorpio. Dad also has Saturn and Scorpio. So there's a very strong connection with daughter and dad here. They will play out themes together, similar patterns, similar themes of the past. So these are areas you want to help her be able to see differently those perspectives and not necessarily do the same exact thing that Dad did here. But there will be the lessons that will come up, these same lessons.
That's my anchor.
Oh, I love that anchor. Thank you.
Just take this for me because I need it.
Okay.
Because it's brand new and really special. Okay? Because I need it.
Now, we also want to look at our North Node, South Nodes here a minute. Okay? Again, this is just a glance at a few things, you guys. So Dad has a North Node in Taurus. He's entering his North Node now because he's just finalizing his last Saturn in Scorpio for another 29 years. After your first Saturn is when you start really developing your North Node characteristics and life path. It takes the rest of your life, so it just begins to really start to open up to you. So here we have North Node in Taurus, and look, we have a child that has all this Taurus energy in the 11th house. So Dad is going to be understanding this. Dad is going to be helping this come true. This is a very powerful and supportive energy here. Mom was born with Capricorn South Node and Cancer North Node. So she's now developing, moving into her North Node because she's already had her first Saturn in Libra in 2010, 2012. And here we've got the North Node moving into Cancer. So we've got a healer, we've got an empath, we've got somebody that wants to help in the world, help with real issues. So, you know, mother-daughter may team up here in a long effort to be very powerful in the world. There's a connection here. This is a very powerful family here. When you guys put these energies together, you are raising a daughter that could make a huge difference. Remember, what we do today isn't necessarily about today. We're investing into the future. So, Mom, with your North Node in Cancer, your focus is on your daughter's identity, your daughter's what's she going to become, and helping her be that. So, yeah, there's so many things, more things I could share. I hope this was interesting and helpful. It's just a small tad of looking at things. If you are interested in me looking at your family charts, you can get a hold of me at cowgirlastrology.com, and I look forward to